Hi, Dawn Lewis here for Kindred Stamps. I am so excited to be presenting my first project as a video design team member. I love Kindred Stamps and I'm making a slider card for you today, showing you how you can create a slider without messing up your custom background. I'm going to show you how I made this background as well. Let's start with our stamping because it's the stamps. This set is called You're a Scream, part of the new release. Oh my goodness, this was so fun to use. It's adorable. I love it. I can't wait to use it again. I'm going to go slowly through this particular section. It is, I'm building a scene. Okay, so as part of the slider, we need something for our little sliding element to hide behind. So I'm taking this canister stamp. I'm using some sticky notes here because I'm going to do some masking to create a huge stack of the canisters. I've just used some second generation stamping. It doesn't matter what you stamp onto the sticky note with, and I'm just going to use a small pair of scissors, cut it out, and I ended up with 5 masks. Now it's a bit of an investment in time to cut all these masks, but I'll keep them with the stamp set, and that means if I do this again, I have the masks and it's not a problem. I don't have to go through the whole process again. Now when you are stacking things, you want to stamp the very first thing, the thing that's going to be front and center first. That's your first stamp. Then you're going to mask it and stamp things that are behind it. And because these 2 canisters are behind, you should not only move them to the side, but also upwards a little because they're going to be looked at. It's the point of view, and they're going to be looked at, and they need to look like they're behind. So you need to move the stamp up a fraction. I'm going through, I'm masking, I'm stamping, I'm masking, I'm stamping. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black because it's Copic friendly. And I'm also going to stamp one individual canister. I got a little mark on there. I have no idea how. And I'm going to use it to hide it, but it's also going to look like a clever design feature. I'm stamping out one each of the monsters in this You're a Scream stamp set, and I'm going to color them all with Copic markers. That is why I've stamped them all on Express It blending card. I have created a second video if you want to see all of the coloring, and now we're going to do this custom background. I fussy cut everything off camera. I've got this black panel. It's just a fraction smaller than the card front, and all of these are going to be doors. We're going to turn them into funky, whimsical, cool little doors. Each of these pieces is cut to 1 1/4 by 1 3/4 inches, and I'm just using a Copic multi-liner, a fine liner. It's a 0.1, but you could use whatever black liner pen you've got. I could have used a ruler. I could have done super straight lines and made sure everything met perfectly, but I really wanted to give it a childlike quality, like kids' drawings. I don't know about you, but my kids draw a lot. They're teenagers now, but they've been drawing their whole lives. And so I just love the whimsical fun that kids inject into their drawings. And that's what I wanted to bring to this background. I have 8 of these in a variety of colors, all from my scrap stash. I'm going to apply double-sided tape to the back and stick them to my black background. I just used a ruler to line everything up. I stuck down the corners first, then the centers, and repeated the top line. And it came out really evenly spaced without actually measuring. I'm going to stick our little monsters here over on the left, but the canisters and the slidey piece is going to be on the right. And I've made one of the canisters look like it's fallen down, and our little girl here, she's going to be on the slider. How cool. I'm using acetate today because, like I said, I do not want to interfere with this background. I spent ages drawing all those little doors, and I want the recipient to see them. I'm putting some 3mm double-sided tape just on the end of the acetate piece, and our little girl is going to be stuck on here. It is helpful to have a grid to make sure A, that your acetate strip is straight, and B, that her little feet are straight as well, because you don't want her on an angle. She kind of needs to be straight. I've flipped the canister stack upside down, and I've placed my little girl on there, and I'm using her as a guide to place foam tape on the back here. So that's going to be our stopper, so that when she slides, she doesn't slide out the other side of the canister stack. That's our stopper to make sure that she just hides in there quite happily. So now that I'm happy with where everything sits, it's time to get our first slit carved in here. So I'm just going to line it up and use a craft knife to cut along through the black cardstock using the edge of the yellow door as a guide. And you can see that the acetate goes in there really well, and we've got our sliding piece, but it's not interfering with this beautiful hand-drawn background. So once I was happy with that, I decided it was time to make a channel. So I'm using foam tape. I put all the double-sided tape on, forgetting I'd need foam tape. So I'm going to show you all my mistakes that I make, because you can learn from my mistakes. I'm very happy to teach by mistake. But you also want to make sure that that foam tape isn't touching the acetate. It's just there to guide it so it doesn't wobble all over the place. Now, to an additional piece to guide it, we're going to put through in a moment. But first I realized her little pigtail and flipper and eyeballs, they were catching when I was taking her in and out behind the canisters, and I realized that needed an extra layer of foam tape. And so now with a double layer in there, she slides in so much easier. She doesn't get caught all the time. So happy. So now we're going to really strengthen up the channel here and put another cut on the other side of the yellow door, so it goes in and under the yellow door and then comes back out on the other side. And this really keeps her sliding straight between the foam on the back and the two slits. Absolutely perfect. And our monsters are going to hide the acetate that you can see there over the blue door, mostly anyway. I've used more foam tape on the back of our blue monster. There's some across his feet and then further up on his chin. You want to make sure it's not going to interfere with the acetate. For the green monster, I've put a teeny tiny piece of foam on one foot. And the rest, he's going to be stuck down. I'm using Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. I love this glue. It sticks everything to everything. It's so cool. And I'm just going to stick him to the blue monster. So this way there's no adhesive on or near the acetate. It can slide freely and we are really close. But we need a sentiment. This set comes with so many sentiments, lots of occasions. I'm impressed with this one. A couple of different fonts, little different sizes. So I've got a sentiment and a sub-sentiment, I guess you'd call it. And I'm trimming them down with my gorgeous little Tim Holtz guillotine. I love the guillotine. I've always been a fan of them. I think that you can really get good clean cuts and it's perfect for small things instead of dragging out a great big trimmer. I've put some 3mm double-sided tape on the back of each of the white sentiments, stuck them down onto some scrap black cardstock. Honestly, I never throw away black cardstock leftovers. You can always stick a sentiment on it. I've stuck down the happy birthday. I centered the from your favorite monster underneath, but it didn't look right. I shifted it a little further to the right and that was much better. I like that a lot. There's just one more thing to do. I grabbed some pattern paper that was hanging around on my desk from another project and put some double-sided tape on there, folded it in half, being sure not to stick it together quite yet. I've just stuck it onto the end of that acetate piece. So I've written the word pull using the same fine liner. And so now the recipient knows to pull on the tab and our little girl slides out. I've placed foam tape all over the back, stuck it down onto my card base, making it sure it's the right way up. And there is our slider mechanism that does not interfere with our custom background. This was such a fun card to make and this is such a fun stamp set. I do hope you will check out this new release. This set is called You're a Scream. I'll link to it in the comments section below. I do hope that you have a go at this project. I hope you have a very crafty day and I will see you next time. Bye for now.